Hello everyone, this is Rick Morgan. I wanted to review a cleaning I did of a couple copies of this book here. It's Amazing Spider-Man 205. It was published in June of 1980, came out in March of 1980. It was written by David Michelinie, drawn by Keith Pollard, nobody really special. But David Michelinie was a fun and one of my favorite writers. Years later, about 10, 12 years after this, I would get a letter from David Michelinie, and he and I would correspond back and forth after me writing Marvel Comics letters column several times. So he and I were not quite friends, but we corresponded for a while. And it's a fun story, and I cleaned 2 copies of it. The cleaning process was wiped down with Immacuclean, put in my light box at 435 nanometers with 3% peroxide for 1 hour and then 2 hours. I took it out and looked at it each time, and I show some before and after pictures. I'm not going to do it in a lot of detail, just to show the before and after and describe it. I want to talk about the book a little bit and to show you what I did just for fun. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Take care. See you later. Bye-bye. The book is a lot of fun in a few ways. One way is that the police here are pretty obviously they are Laurel and Hardy throughout the whole series. And then second, we have some dialogue. Morning, Pete. You look like something the dog dragged in and dragged right back out. Thanks, Steve. I can always count on you for moral support. My friend, I think all the support you need is waiting for you in your office. You have a visitor. This early? But who? Oh, hello, Miss Starr. Call me Don. Peter, after all, friends do call each other by their first names. This is amusing from a 21st century perspective because Dawn is Peter's student and she wants to go out on a date with him, which is super big no-no now, and Peter even has weird ethical problems with it back then, but decides to go for it anyway, as we'll see in a moment. Then we have a few classic ads with the bubble yum. And then we have Peter saying, look, Miss Starr, it's like I told you before, much as I'd like to, I can't date a student. It's just not ethical. Then she replies, oh, pooh, rules like that were made for immature people with no self-control. Surely there's no harm in a satisfying relationship between 2 consenting adults, and we are adults, aren't we, Peter? Then all of a sudden, Peter has a change of heart. He says, you know something? I kind of like being an adult. And she says, I thought you might. Then they make plans for a date. She says, how about if we start with a picnic on the green on Sunday, day after tomorrow? I'll bring a basket. And then Steve says, woo, that's some slick number you got there, Pete. Yeah, I guess things are looking up for old Peter Parker, and it's about time. I think these little scenes, we talk so much about, the covers and creases and the CGC grade and the pressing and cleaning and all this. I think we're losing, some of us, not all of us, of course, are losing some of the fun of reading these books. And this is a fun little vignette, a little peek into what things were kind of like in the 1980s that would really stand out today, that were not a big deal back then. But next we see Peter, the Black Cat has like stolen some collection of like romantic artifacts, and he breaks into her apartment because he put a spider tracer on her. And then we'll see what unfolds there next. So Spidey tracks down the Black Cat, breaks in through the skylight predictably, and then he sees her there, and he's like, all right, Cat, I'm taking those artifacts. You can't try to stop me. And then she's like, but why would I stop you? You're the one I stole them for. He's like, what? And then you look, and the whole place is covered with pictures of him all over the place, and a bunch of lovers making out, statues, all kinds of romantic stuff. Not creepy in the slightest, right? Like, this is some super weird stuff. He should be heading for the hills, but does he? Nope, quite the contrary. She says, now, darling, don't be cross. I told you I had a promise to keep. When Daddy left us, Mother was worried about my following in his footsteps, and she made a promise to get professional help. And what better help than you? You're almost as good as Daddy, and I've had a crush on you for years. So she's sort of seen him as this romantic father figure, and she embraces him. And does he get worried and run? Nope, she wants him to be her psychological help, and he says, I'll see you get all the help you need, and puts his arm around her, and there's a statue of a couple people making out there, and that's how it ends. And Peter says, Cat, I want you to do something for me, and he's going to get her the help he needs. So wow, it's kind of it's just funny to see, knowing how the relationships would go between Black Cat and Mary Jane and Peter in the future, and it's just kind of a fun little book. I thought I'd take a moment to highlight this. But on to more technical things. Here's the little symbol in the bottom left of the A cover of this book, and you can see what it looked like before and after I cleaned it. This spot under the N in the upper right, I gave it, this is what it looked like after 1 hour on the light box, and this is what it looks like after 2 hours on the light box. And notice how much more faded the yellow looks. These are the things I warn about and why I make those light masks for cleaning comic books. Now here's a different, this is a separate book, but here's the upper left hand corner of that separate book. Book B we'll call it, and this is the lower left hand corner of the separate book, Book B. We'll look at some back pictures now. Here's a before and after of Book A, and actually I think this was part way through the cleaning of Book A, so it's not a real before, but here's the before and after of the back bottom of Book A, and then we have the top center of Book B, and then I'll show you the upper right of Book A before and after. So those are just some fun pictures that we can have for comparison. So if you're interested, like I said before, what I did was I just wiped the book down with some Immacuclean, put it in my Immaculight light box for, I think it was 2 hours total. I stopped at 1 hour and took photos, and they were 2 separate books. I have a lot more pictures and video. I didn't really want to show the whole thing, make this video too long. It's just sort of a fun little video to make. So I hope you liked it. Take care. Bye-bye.